Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first annual Trauma Recovery Coaching Summit, sponsored by the International Association of Trauma Recovery Coaching. I'm Bobby Parrish, the Executive Director of the association.
And hi, I'm Sarah Parrish, the Deputy Director.
We are so happy that you're here to share with us 5 days of interviews about trauma recovery, and trauma recovery coaching. Just a quick trigger warning before we move on. We will be talking about things that may normally be triggering for you. So make sure and practice your best self-care skills throughout the entirety of the video.
Thanks, Bobby. So today we have the absolute pleasure and honour in interviewing Paula Smith-Benson. And today Paula is here to talk to us about military sexual trauma. Hi, Paula, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on the summit and providing an opportunity to talk about this very important subject.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you. So what is something that people seem to really misunderstand about women's veterans, Paula?
Thanks so much for asking. And one thing I want to say is what's often understood about women veterans is that we know that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. We also know that there is an absolute suicide crisis and challenge among veterans here in the United States. What many people may not know is that there was a phrase that was used several years back, 22 a day. And what that phrase actually meant is that 22 veterans each day would lose their lives to suicide. Well, now that number has overall decreased to 20 a day, which is wonderful. And the President, the Department of Veteran Affairs, is partnering with the Department of Homeland Security to create strategies that are going from a national to a state to a federal, and what's exciting, a community level of intervention. But what is really, really challenging, and what many people don't know, is that the veteran suicide rate among female veterans is actually, unfortunately, increasing. Why is that a problem? Because women veterans are the fastest growing demographic of veterans. There are approximately 2 million female veterans here in the United States, and many of us don't feel the need or feel comfortable or safe identifying as a veteran as a result of things that have happened to us during our military service. And one of those things and experiences that many people, including myself, have experienced is military sexual trauma. And unfortunately, trauma is at the core and the root of suicide risk, as well as homelessness among female veterans.
That is both scary and heartbreaking.
Yes.
Know that women who have come in and served their country could possibly expose them just by being in service to sexual abuse, and then to know that the numbers are climbing in terms of female veterans who commit suicide. That's scary.
It's really scary, Bobby.
Yeah.
And I often say that we're present, but we're unaccounted for. We're absolutely present. 2 million of us, we're present,
right,
but we're unaccounted for. And oftentimes there aren't a sufficient amount of gender-specific services for women.
Mm-hmm.
And because the rate of our entrance into the military and departure is skyrocketing, then the current systems are overloaded.
Okay.
So now we have a deficit and an exponential growth of consumers of these services, and we already don't have adequate services. The other thing is that there is often a misconception that veterans receive medical care inside of the Veteran Health Administration.
Okay.
But unfortunately, many of us don't receive care in the VA Healthcare Administration. Current statistics, according to the Department of Veterans Affairs, say only approximately 30% of all veterans receive VA health care. Why is that important to us as trauma recovery coaches?
Yeah.
Because there's 70% of the population that may, in fact, be touched by one of us, because they may never go into the building of the VA. And what's even more startling is another statistic indicates that those veterans that are receiving care within the VA have a higher risk of suicide. Now, I'll stop right there a moment.
Wow.
Yes.
That's mind-blowing.
Yes, it is. So what we know to be true is that there are barriers, known and unknown, that are present, that are an additional risk factor for a population of people that need support very greatly.
Yeah.
But we have a tremendous opportunity, because what I love about the trauma recovery coaching model is that it is a holistic model. People don't have to pick and choose where they hurt. We are here to honor, to acknowledge, to express, to be present with those that are in pain.
Yes.
What we also know in terms of women veterans is that many of us have experienced adverse childhood experiences prior to entering on active duty.
Okay.
So we're dealing with a very complex situation, which cannot be solved using simple methods. And it's critical that those of us that are receivers of services are sitting at the table and are considered to be valuable stakeholders in creating solutions.
Yes.
So the fact that you've created this platform to allow me as a female veteran to raise up my voice that the trauma had attempted to snatch.
Yeah.
And to allow me to stand and not only speak from my mouth, but to model with my very being that recovery is absolutely possible.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me what you're doing, Paula. What's on the frontier for you? What are you creating to meet this need?
So what's on the frontier for me, it's really interesting that you would ask. So the Women Veteran Command Center is a nonprofit organization here based in Philadelphia, but we have a nationwide initiative to help women veterans to really tap into the strength that already lies within. Our belief is that the glass is always half full. And what we know to be true is that women veterans have already been successful, because maybe you've gone through officers training school or boot camp, or you've received awards while serving honorably, or even if circumstances impacted your discharge, if you were able to raise your hand and commit to give the greatest sacrifice of all, which is your life, you've got some doggone strength.
Yep.
So what we've decided to do is to take a strength-based approach to supporting women veterans. Two things. People need to feel a sense of belonging, and people need to feel acceptance. All of us have that need. That's part of being human.
Right.
So what we've done at the Women Veterans Command Center is that we're committed to helping women veterans to find and fulfill their purpose using a coaching model, which goes back to, you're the expert in your own life. You've got the answer.
Yep.
I'm just here to pose the question to help to uncover what treasure already lies within the person.
Yeah.
So 2 of those things is creating connection. So we've created a community.
Good.
We've created a place and a container to have critical conversations,
Yeah.
to coach and support one another. And what's interesting is that what I didn't realize until most recently with the new suicide strategy report that came out, 2 of the prevention strategies that are at the top of the list are what? Helping veterans find their purpose,
Yeah.
and creating connections.
Yeah.
So the Women Veteran Command Center is blazing trails in that area for female veterans. And we are super excited about this tremendous opportunity.
Yes.
Sounds amazing, Paula. It just absolutely sounds amazing, you know, and I can just see your passion, you know, you have for this, you know. What hasn't really inspired you, you know, to work with this population?
Well, what has truly inspired me is first and foremost to be in a position where there's so much opportunity. It's a challenge because there are things that we're still discovering and learning that can be seen as a challenge or an opportunity. And we have a tremendous opportunity now to make a huge difference, not just in the lives of veterans, but veterans are connected to families, and families are connected to communities, and communities are connected, and we could go on and on, that this endeavor has the potential to have a global impact. Trauma doesn't discriminate. So the strategies that we develop to help female veterans hopefully can be applied to other demographics of populations that perhaps have been marginalized or oppressed or disenfranchised. So the opportunity to really impact a large group of folks is exciting. And not only that, but to inspire people to be peer leaders, because there are opportunities for leadership as well. So why not get our nation's leaders to jump in on this side and lead this effort of change?
Yeah.
It's just a win-win.
Yes. Amazing. So what's one thing that your program did for your clients that you didn't expect?
So the unexpected was to really prevent suicide, which can be a very difficult topic to discuss.
Yep.
Even in therapy, when I'm asked questions, are you having thoughts of harming yourself? Or do you have a plan? Or do you have an intent? It's a very uncomfortable space. And oftentimes you can feel the discomfort in the provider at even having to ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the gift that I was given that I didn't expect for the clients is that, lo and behold, suicide prevention is really at the forefront of what we're doing, but it's packaged in a way that it can be received. And there's the stigma that oftentimes can be attached to these subjects.
Yes.
Is not there, because we don't focus on what folks can't do. You know, I was thinking about it in terms of health. And my background is as a nurse practitioner. And if we just look at the cardiovascular system and the kidney system, just two systems, when a person is being evaluated for the health and efficiency of their heart, they are given a percentage of functioning.
Yep. Okay.
The ejection fraction is X%, which tells the person how strong their heart is. Or if a person is being evaluated for kidney functions, they will give a percentage that your kidney functions are at 60, 80, 30%, etc. Okay. Why is it that when we're talking about veterans and service connection, that it's so disability oriented, that the person is 10% disabled, 100% disabled, permanently and totally disabled. Why can't we say that the person has 30% functioning, 50% ability? Because language is critical.
Yep.
Because we're speaking those things into existence. And when you're dealing with a population that may already feel like no one sees me, no one hears me, I don't matter, this language can be very triggering without a person consciously knowing it. So we have disrupted the whole paradigm. We use strength-based language. And what's doggone funny is that this concept has now left the veteran in terms of them as an individual. And when I'm working with clients, they're talking about their families. They're speaking the language of systems. They're talking about relationships. Their language has changed to how strong they are, what the possibilities are, what the future holds. And hope is really a key factor in preventing suicide, how to restore the hope in someone.
I agree so much as to what Sarah said. This is amazing, and I cannot wait to see more and more unfold. And yes, it's that lovely domino effect. You help the veteran, it helps their partner relationships, helps their relationships with their children, which then impacts their grandchildren, and just an amazing ripple of awesome work that you are doing.
Yes, and I'll just say the awesome work that we are doing.
Yes.
Because underneath everything I do is the International Association of Trauma Recovery Coaching, because what it has done is it's provided a framework, a code of ethics, it's provided standards, but guess what else it did? It formed community and created a language.
Yes.
Doesn't that sound familiar? It aligns very well with everything that we're doing. So our approach to every female veteran is a trauma-informed approach. We are so intentional about doing no more harm.
Yeah.
It's not about what the person did wrong. It's not about how they served or a dishonorable discharge versus honorable. It doesn't matter. It's about what happened to you.
Yeah.
And that's where recovery can start. You didn't do anything wrong. If there's a female veteran out here watching this summit, it's not your fault. You did not do anything wrong. And we're here to acknowledge that this pain is absolutely real. And the systemic pressures of being on active duty and now trying to navigate this complex system of the VA, those challenges are real. And we want to let you know that there is a safe place for you to journey, really, and to walk this path of healing out. But we're not just anecdotally shooting from the hip. This trauma recovery coaching is very evidence-based. We have many research studies to support what we're doing, and the sky's really the limit.
Yes.
It's exciting to be a part of such an amazing group of folks.
Yes, it is. So for the people who are watching this video and listening, how do they connect with you? How do they connect with the organization that you're working with? You know, where do they reach out?
Okay, folks can find me at the Women Veterans Command Center, which is going to be www.womenveteranscc.com.
Okay.
And once you go onto the website, you can absolutely send me a message. I can also be found on Facebook at the Women Veteran Command Center, as well as my personal page, which is Paula Smith-Benson. I definitely want to make sure that all avenues of communication are available, whether it be email, whether it be social media. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, please stop on by the Women Veterans Command Center. We're at 3900 Ford Road in the Park Plaza condominium, Suite 14A.
Wow.
And we're there 4 days out of every week.
Wow. Thank you, Paula. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula, so much for today, and coming and enlightening us this such an important topic for everybody. I just want to thank all the viewers today for coming along and watching our interview with Paula. We have still got many interviews and videos left for you to watch. But until then, everybody, please take care, and we hope to see you all again soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye.